The laughter was loud enough to rattle the wine glasses. I remember the sharp clink of cutlery against plates, the low hum of conversation, and then his silence. It sliced through the noise like a blade. Everyone turned to look at him, my husband, sitting there with that stillness I'd come to fear more than his anger. "Go on," he said softly, his eyes fixed on me. "Finish the joke, Maya. Everyone's waiting." My throat tightened. The taste of red wine turned sour on my tongue. Just a moment ago I had been laughing. Mocking really. Telling our friends about how forgetful he was, how he once mixed up our anniversary date with his coworker's birthday. They all found it hilarious. So did I. Until he spoke. That one sentence was the beginning of the end. All night something had been off about him. The stiffness in his shoulders. The way his fingers traced the edge of his glass instead of drinking. The occasional flicker of his gaze toward me. Cold and distant. I had chalked it up to stress from work. Everyone at the table thought he was quiet because he was shy. But I knew him better. I should have noticed sooner that it wasn't shyness. It was restraint. The party wasn't even supposed to be ours. It was my friend Layla's birthday, and she had insisted on inviting couples she thought were relationship goals. That included us. The irony of that label stung now. "Come on, Maya," Layla teased, nudging me. "You always have the best stories about Daniel. Tell them the one about the emails again." Had smiled then. God, what a fool I was. "The emails," I said, swirling my drink. "You mean when he accidentally sent me flowers meant for his client?" Everyone laughed again. That was when he looked up. Slowly. His eyes locked with mine, and the room felt smaller. "Actually," he said, his voice low but clear, "they weren't for my client." The laughter died instantly. The sound of a fork dropping onto a plate felt deafening. Blinked. "What?" He set down his glass, his movements deliberate, controlled. "The flowers weren't for my client. They were for someone else. But I'm glad you found it funny." My heart was pounding so hard I could barely breathe. "What are you talking about?" His lips twitched, almost into a smile, but not quite. "You already know." The room blurred. Layla's face twisted with confusion. Someone coughed. Another tried to change the subject, but Daniel wasn't finished. He leaned back, looked at me and said, "You made me into a joke, Maya. For months. To our friends. To your family. But you never once thought to ask me what was really going on." Every word hit like a slap. My fingers trembled under the table. "Daniel, you're being ridiculous," I whispered. "We were just joking." He cut me off. "Were we?" The room felt suffocating. I could feel everyone's eyes on us, waiting, uncomfortable, curious. I wanted to disappear. After that night, everything fell apart quietly. We didn't yell. We didn't even fight. The silence became our language. He moved into the guest room first, saying it was temporary, that he needed space. Then came the late nights. The muted phone calls. The scent of perfume that wasn't mine lingering on his coat. I told myself it was work. That I was overthinking it. But deep down I already knew. The betrayal didn't come as a sudden discovery. It came as a slow unraveling. A thread pulled one day at a time until everything we'd built collapsed. I found the confirmation weeks later, in the most mundane way. His phone left unlocked on the counter. A message that began with, "I can't stop thinking about that night." I didn't cry right away. I just stood there, staring at the screen, tracing the words with my thumb as if I could erase them. My heart didn't shatter, it sank. Heavy. Cold. When he came home that evening, I was waiting in the living room. "Her name is Anna, isn't it?" I asked quietly. He froze. For a moment, I saw guilt flicker across his face, but then it hardened into something else, resentment. "I didn't plan for it," he said. "You stopped seeing me long before she did." Those words hurt more than the affair itself, because somewhere inside me I knew he was right. I had mocked him, diminished him in front of others. I thought our love was strong enough to survive my teasing, my sarcasm. But it had chipped away at something fragile until there was nothing left. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to make him feel the pain clawing through my chest. But instead I said, "Then why didn't you just leave?" His voice broke then, barely a whisper. "Because I still hoped you'd notice me." After he left, I replayed that dinner over and over. The laughter, the looks, his calm voice cutting through it all. I realized that wasn't the night he betrayed me. It was the night he revealed how long I'd been betraying him too. I had betrayed him with indifference, with cruelty disguised as humor, with my need to seem strong, witty, superior. I had humiliated the man I once promised to protect. And in return, he found solace in someone who made him feel seen. The night he packed his things, he paused at the door. "You know," he said, "I used to love your laugh. It used to be my favorite sound." Then he left. Now the house is quiet. Too quiet. Sometimes I still pour 2 glasses of wine out of habit. I still hear echoes of laughter in the dining room, ghosts of the people we used to be. I scroll through our old photos and wonder where, exactly, we lost each other. Maybe it wasn't in the affair, or in that dinner, or in the silence that followed. Maybe it was in every little moment I made him the punchline of my story instead of my partner in it. The night plays in my mind again. The dinner, the joke, the laughter. Then his voice, soft and calm. "Finish the joke, Maya." That was the moment everything ended. Not because of his words, but because I finally heard them. And what terrified me most was that I didn't know whether I hated him for betraying me, or hated myself more for making him want to.